Yes.
So that record, like when you found out it made the album, like
they kind of pulled me in the room. It was like Illuminati meeting. And we didn't even really know that it really got placed.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But they just knew, like, oh, this has the highest possibility to make it on an album at the time. So I'm just like, oh.
And look, as a songwriter, I know you think about certain artists, you like, man, I get that Bieber placement. I get that Rihanna placement, that Beyonce placement.
Right.
You just feel like, you really set. You know what I'm saying? Or Usher or anybody like that.
Right.
So that's huge.
Yeah, it was different, because I had the rap placements. I had the T.I., the Lil Wayne, so I had Drake, all the big rappers.
That's
now
right.
I'm going to this pop world.
That's right.
It's like, oh, this is even magnified even more because, the Justin Bieber is like, once in a generation type of pop kind of artist.
100%. Yeah.
So that was, like, they put me into the room. They told me what it was going to be. And, it might potentially be a single. And,
nice.
And then Rodney had came to me, put me to the side. I was like, the wool's about to come out for you.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, the wool's about to come out for you.
What do you mean by that? What's that mean?
So once you get
Once
you get a placement, even before you even get the placement, they hear about the record and they know it's a high possibility that you're going to get a Justin Bieber placement. Now different management companies start to come at you and be like, hey man, such and such want to talk to you.
It's like you're going to the league.
Yeah, it's like you're going to the league, like you about to be drafted,
Yeah.
So it's like such and such want to talk to you, and then you got different pub companies. What's your situation?
Yeah.
And all that stuff tests like how you deal with stuff under pressure.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And how your morals are.
Yeah.
Because it could have easily been a situation where it's like, oh, well, Rodney gave you this, but this pub company's offering you 10 times more, and you could jump shift. Mm-hmm. But where do your loyalty lie? Are you really going to just move around just because of the money? You get over there by this pub company and they don't have the resources that this guy has.
That's right.
Now you're sitting on the bench because they have over 20 legendary producers over there.
Man.
That's getting all the placements,
Yeah.
And you think that one JB record going to make you hop that line? Nah, it don't work like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
That's a nugget.
Yeah, so always stick with my guns, though.
It's like Jordan choosing Nike over Adidas or Converse at the time.
Right. You got Magic Johnson. You got, what I'm saying?
Right.
Dr. J. You got Larry Bird over at Converse.
That's right.
But he was like, yo, I want to roll with Nike. They have a vision for me.
That's
They're
right.
going to take a chance on me. Rodney took that chance on me.
That's fantastic.
Can we talk? Oh, can we talk? Can we talk? R&B.
Yo, what's up? Thank you guys for tuning in once again to the Can We Talk R&B podcast. It's your boy, Ian Vaughn. I appreciate you guys. And we have a very, very, very special guest today. I'm super excited to have you, brother, in the place. Mr. KC, the producer. This guy is like one of the, I would say up and coming, but he's been making noise for a very long time, working with some of our favorite artists like Lil Wayne, Ludacris, Drake. How you get a Drake placement? Gucci Mane. DaniLeigh from an R&B perspective, Justin Bieber, as well as my man, Eric Bellinger. So,
yes, sir.
I'm excited to have you in the building, man. Good, man. Thank you for coming out.
Look, thank you for having me.
All day long.
Yes, sir.
All day long.
Ooh.
Now, you're good. All day.
Yeah.
So, let's just get into it, man. So, I tapped in. I hit you on Instagram
right.
A couple weeks ago or whatever. And I remember, I don't know, I dropped a single last month, and I put some promo out for it.
Which was dope, by the way.
I appreciate that. Appreciate
Yes,
you. A little slight plug, Lay You Down. Y'all go get that right now. Ian Vaughn, Lay You Down. So I'm like, I don't know how the conversation started, but I remember like yo, I'm out of town right now. Let's get in the studio. Let's chop it up. So I'm like, oh, you right here in my city. I didn't even know that.
Right.
So I tapped in with you, got a chance to speak with you, and we kind of connected. And I was like, man, you got to come on the pod.
Yeah, that was a blessing, man.
Man.
Nothing happened by mistake in the universe.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I really appreciate you coming out. So let's get into it, man. KC, the producer, like what got you into producing? Who are you? Like, tell us who you are.
What got me into producing was I was a failed rapper in high school. I was terrible, man. Yeah, I tried, and it's so funny because my girl at the time, she was, I had played it. We had recorded a couple of songs on the computer.
Yeah.
And I played it for her. She was like, everybody sound cool, but you
trash.
You trash.
That'll do it.
And it was just like, I can't I can't be mad at her because I love the fact that she was honest about it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it led me to the direction of producing.
Absolutely.
So, I started making beats in high school. It was 99.
Where you from?
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
I.e. the KC.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We're kind of lazy with the name, so.
No, it's love though.
It works out.
That's right. It works. It works.
So, yeah, I started producing like 99. I was making beats only to, do it for the group that I was rapping with.
Okay.
Well, not rapping anymore, but producing with.
Yeah.
And, people in high school was buying music. They was buying the beats.
Yeah.
$25, $50. So I'm like, okay, I got a lot of rappers here. So it was kind of like a little hustle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I can sell some beats and, make some money while I was in school.
Absolutely.
I think it didn't really get too serious until like my senior year. I had a friend that was actually on the radio.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was like, he took it seriously. His pops worked at the radio station. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can really get into it. And I met this guy named Opie Taylor.
Okay.
Shout out to Opie. He was big, like, influential to, like, just introducing me to properly how to make music.
Sure. Gotcha.
Because I just knew how to put drum patterns together, throw a couple of samples, and that'd be it.
Sure.
But he taught me, like, everything about music production.
Yeah.
Introduced me to a SSL board. Introduced me to a Triton LE.
That's right.
LPC 1000.
So you talking that talk.
Yeah.
I'll try to explain. I think we touched on this before. It's like you have beat makers.
Right.
Then you have producers.
Right.
You got programmers.
Right.
They all do some of the same things, but a producer pulls a song together.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't necessarily got to make the beat to be a
Right.
producer. But all those elements come in together. You think about, the greats like Quincy Jones. He didn't play every instrument on every track he was producing, right? So he pulled in this guitar player, he pulled in this drummer, whoever, and then to get what he gets. So
yeah, that's why he was like a great composer. When he goes to Paris for, at 18 to compose for that choir.
Absolutely.
It's just like, yo, how's he doing this?
Absolutely.
But he knew how to compose records.
That's right.
He wasn't necessarily playing every string instrument
That's right.
or every horn. He just knew how to compose.
That's right. That's right.
So, shout out to Quincy too.
For sure. The GOAT. We actually, I think of every episode so far, we shout Quincy because he's just that dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
There's nobody that tops him.
Nobody.
Ryoji Sakamoto. He's amazing. Now, this is a Japanese composer who has endless hits, but, outside of the U.S.
No doubt.
Yeah, he's amazing. Trey Songz had sampled him on, Trading Places?
On that.
Is with the reverse.
I know what song you're talking about.
I forgot.
I know exactly what song you're talking about off the head.
But
I got you.
As soon as I heard that, I knew it was like, oh, let me go look at his, because I was the type of producer, I want to see who did what.
Yeah.
Where did that sample come from?
Yeah.
I got to figure it out.
For sure.
Because I'm going to go sample. I know that if they sampled once, they got more to sample.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So when you tap in like guys like that, these guys like Quincy, guys like these incredible producers who's I guess made the soundtracks to our lives essentially, right? So you find these inspirations in terms of some of the production that you I guess started doing back in around 99, 2000.
Yeah. So a big influence for me was Timbaland. Because at the time, like, I wasn't properly like musical theory, like I didn't really understand chords or scales or anything.
Sure.
And the thing about Timbaland was, when I heard his beat, I heard a baby crying in it. I'm like, man. You know what I'm saying? How did he make that one?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? How is he beatboxing on these R&B beats and making it work?
Making it work, absolutely.
So further I dug into him, I'm like, okay, look, I ain't gonna say cheat the game, but if I can get the programming together,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? These chords I can keep minimized.
That's right.
And it'll still work.
That's
so
right.
I was like, let me kind of follow his template
Absolutely.
until I really understand it.
Timbaland's another GOAT.
Yeah, he's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Shout out to Teddy Riley, because that whole
from that tree, that VA tree, right?
That VA tree. Devontae, what I'm saying? Amazing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how, okay, so coming from, I guess, as a producer, you building it up, you just kind of building your chops, you're getting inspired by guys like Timbaland, Teddy Riley, et cetera, et cetera. What was like the first one that was like, okay, you in the game now?
Oh, I believed I was in the game. Now, I ain't going to say I was in it, but I believed I was in the game.
Sure.
When I went off to college, and I was trying to produce. I wasn't a producer yet. I was a beat maker.
Sure.
I was making beats, and I ran into a guy that was I went to Alabama State.
Nice.
So
okay.
shout out Alabama State.
Shout out HBCU. Okay.
Yeah, HBCU, got to plug them.
No doubt.
But when one of my biggest strengths was always networking and talking. I never was afraid of like going and talking to whoever I want to. I was, I came from a family of, well, my grandfather was in the NFL and my uncles played either collegiate or NBA ball or
Who's your
something.
grandfather play for?
Played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nice.
But also shout out New Orleans because he played for the Saints as well.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs though.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
So, that was the treat. I was supposed to be the next family, superstar in football and stuff. So being in that little highlight of your life where people are coming to talk to you and things like that, that helped develop my social skills.
Yeah.
And that helped me, like, whenever I'm networking, I can go talk to whoever because I already felt confident about it.
Your network is your net worth. I'm sorry, is your network. Yeah, absolutely. Gotcha. For sure.
So fast forward, I moved to Montgomery, and I'm like, who's the producer down here? Because every city has somebody that has some type of network.
Somebody.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care how big or small it is. Somebody is doing something in that city.
That's right.
So I ended up finding out it was a guy named K.O. Cates, who ended up becoming a big mentor to me.
Okay.
So I approached his studio, didn't know anybody, you know what I'm saying? Just really approached the studio. He let me in, played some beats for him.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, this is dope, So I'm like, all right, cool. He let me stay there, intern, kind of, and just like learn and soak up game from him.
Absolutely.
And he would take me back and forth from Atlanta to Montgomery to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And at the time, he was head of Grand Hustle Productions.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he did Why You Want to Go and Do That, Hello.
Yeah.
And all these big hits for T.I.
Yeah, nice.
So I was able to be in the circle of that, quote unquote, not in the industry, but believing I'm in the industry.
But you tapped in.
Yeah, I was tapped into that.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So, going back and forth, and I can attest to seeing Sierra in the studio, Laura London, and I'm saying, Lil Wayne, and everybody coming through Grand Hustle.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was like, I'm in here. All I gotta do is place one of these records.
That's
and,
right.
They're gonna get him from me because he's ahead of the production.
That's right.
So that's when I really felt like that, and that's around 2004.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I remember that time real heavy too. Everybody you just mentioned, Sierra was just dropping around that time.
Everybody.
Wayne was like doing a resurgence because he was already on, right? Mm-hmm. From New Orleans. Obviously, Wayne been popping since probably 95, 96, something like that, with Cash Money. But being, one of the, at that point, the biggest rappers, in the game, he was just coming back and letting everybody know he was that dude.
He was doing that mixtape run that was incredible.
Going snap crazy at that
crazy.
time. All them Cannon records. Yeah. And he was just going ham, letting everybody know he was the man.
Right.
But during that time, to have access to people like that, or just be in the room of that level of greatness.
It was crazy.
That's a great inspiration.
Man, it was crazy because I'm around T.I. who's at the hottest point of his career.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm around Lil Wayne who's at the hottest point of his career. And it's just like, yo, this is wild. Like, so at the moment, you couldn't tell me I wasn't.
That's right.
About to be a millionaire next year.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in the game. Like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't. We was going to club.
Let me go swipe this car real quick.
Yeah.
I know it's coming.
I know it's coming. Yeah. Give me that loan right quick. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
We go to clubs and be like, we Grand Hustle got T-shirts and stuff. We walk in like we Grand Hustle. Walk straight in the club in Atlanta.
Yeah,
talking about Club 112 days.
I remember that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See that you talking that talk. I remember those days. I mean, me being from Louisiana, I was at that time. I was in a band called Us Three that we ended up having to change our names because we had a cease and desist order from the original Us Three from Europe, right?
Yeah.
So they had a song called Flip Fantasia, real popular band, but we were like these regional phenoms in R&B music. We were like a new school kind of Tony style group. Yeah. And we were making noise regionally and had a lot of national notoriety. But around that time, we were trying to get, we were going to Atlanta, going to these different places, trying to get in these studios. Yeah. We were working at Patchwork out there.
Yeah,
Patchwork. I recorded some stuff at Stankonia. So I had, that Atlanta timeline, it was popping out there. Yeah.
Right around DTP studio.
That's right.
Stankonia, DTP.
That's
all of them
right.
had a little hub right there.
That's right. So what, like, doing those hip-hop records, having access, I guess being around artists like Sierra and so forth, what was, like, the transition to where you start doing more R&B stuff?
Oh, it's when I moved to New Orleans, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I really got to shout out V-Script, songwriter, who really like put me on R&B.
Nice.
My mother and them, we listened to R&B. My grandmother listened to R&B. Like, it was R&B house, but I wasn't making that music because that's not the life. I was more so into.
It's funny, like around that time too, R&B was not what it's not what it had been.
Right.
Like R&B was like the number one thing, and then
Right.
hip hop came, and then it became hip hop and R&B.
Right.
And hip hop is what it is. It's just a juggernaut of a style
Right.
of a culture of what it is. But R&B has its own culture, and during the late 90s, it's starting to become one thing. Like it's not no longer just R&B. It's becoming R&B and hip hop and R&B.
Right.
Which is, I mean, I love that too. But what started to happen was R&B started losing its steam, and now I'm assuming the labels are not putting the money behind R&B records the way they used to. They just pushing hip hop. So a generation of people, producers, of musicians, I believe, missed some of those quintessential.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Facts. Yeah, most definitely.
So, but when you got into the R&B bag, like what was when you moved to New Orleans, like what was it about, I guess, city of New Orleans that sparked that? What was it about?
Well, first I moved to New Orleans because I was working on Carter 3 with Diesel. Yeah. So I met Diesel at Grand Hustle's studio with my guy named Hustle, who plugged me into a lot of people.
Nice.
And Diesel's an engineer. And I think I played him a beat and I had clipped. So the thing is, back then, like if you didn't really have all the samples, I was up on technology early, you know. So I would go in, I would clip people drums.
Nice.
You know, and he had one drum kit that was just like signature, like his.
Yeah.
And I clipped and I took his drums out of it, you know. And he heard the beats. He was like, "How you get that?" And I told him the story. But ever since then, we was cool.
Nice.
You know?
Nice.
And he asked me, you know, I'm starting this type of label, Drum Major Music, and I want you to be a part of it.
Excellent.
So I go down and be a part of it. And during the time, him and Wayne reconnected, and we started working on the Carter 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
so
like,
that was my first big major placement that I can really say, like, yeah, I was part of that whole little run. You know what I'm saying?
And that's arguably Wayne's best album. A lot of people hold that as like his highest, his best project.
$1 million in a week.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean,
like ridiculous.
It's crazy, you know?
Come on.
It's crazy.
Look, this is not a hip hop podcast, but big shout out to my man Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For being who he is, for the culture.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But during that time, Diesel had opened up a studio in New Orleans, and the guy who I referred to, Verdell V. Script, he was booking sessions with Diesel.
Nice.
And he had a cousin that was an R&B artist, and a dude named Rance Davis. He actually had some big songs in New Orleans that I produced.
Nice.
You know, alongside a guy named Blair Taylor. So
okay.
It was like I was trying to figure it out. I still didn't know everything, but
Sure.
with the R&B, I was like, yo, I love this because it's a different type of music that I'm making.
Absolutely.
And I get to experiment a little bit more.
That's right.
You know, and at the time, I think The Dream was really like having this run.
Come on.
And I'm just like listening to how he's like him and Tricky Stewart, how Tricky's putting these beats together, using these weird percussion sounds.
Right. That's right.
You know, then I start following like Tim and Bob, and I'm listening.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't
on.
really know, but
Talk
at the
that
time,
talk.
I'm just like listening to Tim and Bob. I'm like, man, this is crazy. You do that slow down. Where did you get this
Come
from?
on.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Come on,
right,
man.
right.
Man, them dudes tapped in.
Yeah.
I give a big shout to them all the time because I'm big fans of just the sound that they created. But even Tricky Stewart and The Dream, like I remember that run. When Dream came, I was just like, what is this? You know what I'm saying?
Incredible
like,
run.
Yeah, like it was crazy because, you know, he wasn't like what I consider to be a vocalist.
Right.
He was a good singer. He had a good style, but he was just all swag and melody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. And it's funny because he didn't necessarily fall from the R. Kelly tree,
Right.
but his style was R. Kelly-ish.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I never really put that together. I always think about, like, specifically that timeline. I think about artists like The Dream, and I think about Neo, right?
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
So it's like, I look at them just for what they've done, and I'm like, they're kind of like Babyface Teddy Riley. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I look like both undeniable. I can't really pick one or the other over the other,
Right.
Because they both do something different, but what they do is just as impactful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Have you ever worked with Dream, or you ever got an opportunity to do anything with him?
Never got a chance to work with Dream.
But he's an inspiration.
He's a big inspiration, you know.
I'm looking at like things you did. You worked with Drake as well. What, like, I think about just for the sake of talking about hip hop, Drake is one of the hip hop artists that all R&B guys are like, I love this dude's melodies. Yeah. Because they're simple enough, but they inspire. I don't know a singer. I don't know, not one. I'm not saying there aren't any, but I don't know any that could listen to those records and just not want to do some little runs on it, or some little melody floats over it. You know what I'm saying?
Most
So
definitely.
working with guys like him, did that kind of help? I guess around this time you're starting to usher into your R&B bag. Did you have any opportunity to kind of roll into that dealing with artists like him?
You know, it was crazy. Like during the session that they actually did the song, it was at Hot Beats in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
And I was in New Orleans. Yeah. So
you weren't actually sitting in on the session?
No. So that broke my heart. I didn't, but at the time, Drake wasn't Drake. Like,
right.
It wasn't the big.
It's like 08, 09.
Yeah. It's like maybe 07.
07, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was a Lil Wayne and Drake song. And Kid was on there.
Nice.
I Could Take Your Girl.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay,
Yeah. So it was, you know, it was the early Drake. I wish I got the Drake now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But even then, I remember, I think he dropped like maybe like a year or so later when that mixtape that went crazy.
Oh, October, yeah.
When that came in October came out, that's when someone put me on to him.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing it, and I was like, I think he had the record with Trey Songz on it and all that vibe. I was like,
yeah, amazing.
Man, this dude, he got something special on him. You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy because, you know, I see him around the studio with him, but, you know, nobody really thought anything of it at the time because we're all caught up in this Wayne wave.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't know, like, this kid's working so hard behind the scenes doing what he does,
right.
you know?
Right.
Not out of nowhere, but that wave comes.
That
and
wave
it's just
comes.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like, look, we're you think about the origin stories of people or like superheroes.
Right.
You know, you say this guy, he went through this to get to this stage.
Right.
And then this girl broke his heart to get to this stage.
Right.
Or whatever.
Right.
So you have those little, you know, these hills or these steps that you climb to go to the next level. What artists, I guess, that you worked with when you like, okay, you got that first check, now you're really getting saucy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what artist was that? What how'd that come to be?
That first check was that Lil Wayne check, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I was 21 at the time. Yeah, I was 21, and the amount that I got for that, I've never seen. Like, you know what I'm saying? At one time, I'm just like, this is crazy. This is what I'm about to do.
What you blow it on?
A car. Yeah.
What type of car?
Man, it was a Dodge Charger when they first, like, really came out.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, then I wrecked it a week later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wrecked it a week later. Terrible. Trying to race somebody, leaving the club, drunk.
Did you buy it cash? Did you make any responsible decisions
Not
financially?
at all. Not at all. That's why I knew God was like, yo, you don't need $1 million right now.
Not right now. Yeah, you got to get it together.
Yeah,
I remember, look, when I was 21, I remember the band I was with, we was, 22, we were trying to shop for a label deal.
Yeah.
And when they were talking about, we were part of a production crew. And when we got to talking about the money, you know, I remember one of the guys was like, man, let's all go buy these SL Mercedes, these SL 500s, and we just going to be flexing, hitting the block, all get the same color. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nah, I'm going to buy a crib and buy a house.
Oh, wow, you was responsible.
In my mind.
Yeah.
But I said I was going to do that. We ended up not getting that deal, so I didn't get that money. But, but the mindset was, I knew what I wanted to do with that. But that I digress. That I know at 21 years old, you give a young producer, because once you think that money's coming forever. Once you get it at one, okay, I'm going to make another beat. I'm going to get this.
Especially right there in the circle. Like,
that's
you
right.
know, like, oh, Wayne's going to take some more.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He don't rap it on my stuff all the time.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, no, we're good.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So moving on to, you work with Eric Bellinger.
Oh, yeah.
Big shout out to that boy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Man, he's Dark Child.
Dark Child.
Yeah,
the legend.
Let's talk about it. Like, so, as a matter of fact, let's get into the deep dive. You did that record with, I guess, under that camp with Bieber. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so me and Rodney actually did a deal in 2020, I believe. Yeah, November 2020. I signed with Rodney's publishing company, 77.
Okay.
And also Cobalt. So, and shout out to VV, set that whole play up. Love you. And then Rodney, I think that month I signed, the next month, I think I signed in that November maybe. The next month he had a camp.
Yeah.
And it was for the Justin Bieber. Nice. It was for like Justin Bieber, LMA, SZA, Normani.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was just like a bunch of artists, you know, we had to work with. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Bunch of Goliaths.
Yes, you know, so I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I gotta perform. I'm about to come down there. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's time to perform.
Yeah.
So that's why I met Eric Bellinger as well. You know, Eric was one of the writers that was down there.
Nice.
And also it was a guy named All Day, Greg All Day.
Okay. I've heard of Greg.
Yeah, he wrote 6 joints on that Bieber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Then we had Beam, who also wrote like 2 joints on there. And then Taylor Parks, who's an amazing
I've
writer.
heard of Taylor Parks.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, so one thing about like this pod, I want to like just, I don't want you to lose your thought on that.
Yeah.
We want to highlight like the people that you're naming.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we had the liner notes. We pulling out the CDs,
Right.
the tape. We reading who wrote this, who produced this.
Right.
Now you don't really, it's not out there the way it used to be. So we want to be able to highlight guys like yourself.
Yeah.
That you did that record, you did that record. People riding around, very inspired by these records.
Right.
But they like all they know is the artist. Then they don't know who.
Oh yeah, it's
who
just
did
like
what.
my daughter. My daughter thinks like every time a big artist comes on, it's like, oh man, she can write her. She's real good at writing. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, but I know who wrote the
That's
song,
right.
but I ain't gonna bust the bubble. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But
right.
it's just like a lot of these writers don't get the credit that they deserve.
Right.
A lot of the engineers don't get the credit they deserve.
100. The engineer is just as important as the producer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it goes hand in hand.
That's right.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you got to make that sonic. You got to make everything work.
That's right.
and that's an engineer's job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Greg All Day, he's the one who actually started the record off for me
Okay.
for the Justin Bieber joint.
Yeah.
He was down there probably like 4 or 5 days, and I had everybody was sending. So at these camps, these how these camps work.
Mm-hmm.
You have a group of producers, and maybe it was like I don't know, 10 producers or what so down there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a group of songwriters, maybe 10 or 15 different songwriters was down there.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's in separate rooms. Rodney has a big room, of course, and I think I was inside of the live room, and I did my own setup.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody just set up in different places. Yeah, people that was in the booth making,
Sure.
in his rooms. And then they either go around, and there's no like days where such and such working with you, or Eric's coming in working with you. It's just like a freelance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever
Catch
vibe,
a vibe,
you catch.
catch a vibe.
Yeah, you catch a vibe, catch a vibe. So I had did my research though. It was I think maybe 2 days into the camp, I told Rodney, I'm like, yo, I need to have breakfast with you and sit down and chop it up.
Yeah.
Because one of the things for me is, it's like, all right, Rodney, I know you're a dope producer.
Yeah.
But you sustained 25 plus years in this game.
Talk
It's
about
still relevant.
Still relevant.
How did you do that?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you do that? That meant more to me than anything.
For
you know
sure,
what I'm saying?
for sure.
Like, when you sign into them, it's not like, I need you to teach me to make beats. No,
Yeah.
I need you to teach me the game. I need
That's
this
right.
information.
That's like that 500. The question everybody's asking: would you take $500,000 or go to dinner with Jay-Z? Now, I'm taking the $500,000, but
taking 5.
when you have when you have an opportunity though, just to have that just shows you the value that people place on having conversations like that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, because it's, even throughout the internet age, and how people say there's so much information you can grab, but
That's
it's some priceless information that you got to
Absolutely.
grab from some mentors that can
right.
help you. You know, and sometimes like you can't go research that.
Yeah.
No, you got to have one-on-one encounters and actually having a person that's willing to talk to you about it.
That's right.
One of the key things he told me was, lean into the songwriters more than anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, however you got to do it, just lean into the songwriters because they're going to get the songs placed for you.
Nice.
So I took that train of thought, and I thought like the next day, the guy All Day, he was getting packs from everybody, and I was really like holding back. Like I wanted to wait. I didn't want to bombard him with so much stuff.
Sure.
I caught him by himself, and he came home. He was like, "Hey, you got a pack for me?" Yeah, I do, but let's go out to grab some food first.
Yeah.
And you get to know that person.
That's right.
Get to see what that person's vision is, And then we got to talk about like, hey, where's JB at in life?
Yeah.
Where's Justin at in life? And
Yeah.
what does he want to talk about?
Yeah.
How is he feeling? Like, he just getting married, so he's really in love. So, all right, I want to make sure that these records represent what's going on in his life.
100.
It got to be a soundtrack to his life because it's not going to really
That's
make it.
key.
It's not going to register with him.
He's not gonna be able to perform it right because he ain't gonna feel it. That's right.
So, he told me what it was, and I was like, okay, well, I'm about to put a pack together after, we got done eating. I learned about All Day in his life.
Yeah.
Learned about what's going on with him and how he was such a cool dude. And I'm just like, all right, cool. All right, now we got a vibe. We got some type of energy together.
That's right.
Now let's go create.
Yeah.
Because I don't like just jumping in and just creating out of nowhere. Like
That's
we gotta
clutch.
have gotta have a conversation
That's
before we
clutch.
start. You know?
It's funny when I came to the studio. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely. I said I got to come work with you.
Right.
But I'm like, I need to come over there. I want to meet you first.
Yeah.
Just see what the energy is. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, you can vibe with some folks. You don't vibe with everybody. It's okay.
Exactly.
But when you get a chance to go to a studio, catch a vibe, understand what the energy is in the room, the connection between the artist, the writer, the producer, then you're able to create something.
Yeah, it means you can always forcefully make something, but it, you know,
The
it
best
doesn't-
stuff comes from energy.
Comes from energy, you know. So, we get back to the studio, and I kind of rethought the pack I was going to send them of loops, because during these camps we don't do like full out beats. We just send loops, the melodies.
Sure.
It might be a guitar line,
That's right.
piano keys, or
That's
synth,
right.
whatever the line is.
And why is that?
The biggest thing for me when I see that, when you add drums into a record, it boxes that writer into
That's
it.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that drum start to dictate where they should go with
Where's
the
the one
melodies.
melody?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I was just like, I don't want that. I want to make sure that you're able to tell your story, and then let me put the soundtrack to that story.
Yeah, so to break it down for the listener, look, this is just an opportunity for a songwriter to be able to spread their wings within the melody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No limitations.
I got a big wingspan. So when you write songs, I don't want to be stuck between this.
Right.
I want
Right.
to be able to go, da, 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 whatever melody is coming to, whatever that loop is telling me, or whatever lick. Like I'll write a lot of songs on guitar, and I'll just be playing one or two
One of the
licks.
best songs.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So if you ever break down a record, if you could take the drums, all the extra bells and whistles from it, and you can just play it on piano
And just breathe.
and breathe, and you tell if that song's really a good song or not.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
If you can have it to its barest bones, is that a good record?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the approach I would take on records, that I do take on records.
That's
But
lit.
I kind of, when I was sending All Day to Pack, I kind of went back, and I always do my research. I'm like, okay, what does JB like? What key does he like to sing in? Let me do around the tempos that he likes.
Yeah.
What was like the last hit he had with this type of sounds and stuff? And
Nice.
I did that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like shooting at the I don't like painting the canvas and just throwing paint with my eyes closed.
want
Or,
some structure.
Yeah, it gotta have some type of structure, some type of, you know, something that registers with these artists.
That's a nugget.
You know, you gotta have that. I mean, you can always be creative in yourself, but it's like, yeah, let's be creative. Oh, but let's put it in this key or this tempo, or I know she sings better in A flat, or you know what I'm saying. Let's
That's a
figure
nugget.
that out.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like the more you take your time to learn that, the more, you know, you have a better shot at getting these placements.
That's right.
And you got to remember, like, these artists, they record hundreds, thousands of songs.
That's
maybe.
right.
You know, what's going to differentiate yourself from other records they got?
That's right.
Coming from The Dream, coming from Dark Child, coming from Eric Bellinger. You got to make sure you can stand out within it,
Absolutely.
you know?
That's key, bro. You just gave some nuggets on that.
Yeah.
So that record, like when you found out it made the album, like
They kind of pulled me in the room. It was like Illuminati meeting.
Yeah.
And we didn't even really know that it really got placed.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But they just knew, like, oh, this has the highest possibility to make it on an album at
That's
the
right.
time. So I'm just like, oh. Okay.
and as a songwriter, I know you think about certain artists, you like, man, I get that Bieber placement. I get that Rihanna placement, that Beyonce placement.
Right.
You just feel like, you know, you really set. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or Usher or anybody like that.
Right.
So that's huge.
Yeah, it was different, you know, because I had the rap placements. I had the T.I., the Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
you know, so I had Drake, all the
Right.
big rappers.
That's
now
right.
I'm going to this pop world.
That's right.
It's like, oh, this is even magnified even more because,
Yeah.
you know, the Justin Bieber is like, you know, once in a generation type of pop kind of artist.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was, like, they put me into the room. They told me what it was going to be. And, you know, it might potentially be a single. And,
Nice.
you know, and then Rodney had came to me, put me to the side. I was like, the wool's about to come out for you.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, the wool's about to come out for you.
What
So
do you
just-
mean by that? What's that mean?
So once you get
I'm sorry.
a placement, even before you even get the placement, they hear about the record and they know it's a high possibility that you're going to get a Justin Bieber placement. Now, different management companies start to come at you and be like, hey, man, you know, such and such want to talk to you.
It's like you
And-
going to the league.
Yeah, it's like you going to the league, like you about to be drafted, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like such and such want to talk to you, and then you got different pub companies. What's your situation?
Yeah.
And, you know, all that stuff tests, like, how you how you deal with stuff under pressure.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And how your morals are.
Yeah.
Because it could have been easily been a situation where it's like, oh, well, you know, Rodney gave you this, but this pub company's offering you 10 times more, and, you know, you could jump shift, but where do your loyalty lie? Are you really going to just move around just because of the money? You know, you get over there by this pub company, and they don't have the resources that this guy has.
That's right.
You know, now you're sitting on the bench because they have over 20 legendary producers over there.
Man.
That's getting all the placements, you know?
Yeah.
You think that one JB record going to make you hop that line? Nah, it don't work like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
That's a nugget.
Yeah, so, you know, always stick with my guns, though.
It's like
you
Jordan choosing Nike over Adidas or Converse at the time.
Right. You got Magic Johnson. You got, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Dr. J. You got Larry Bird over at Converse.
That's right.
But he was like, yo, I want to roll with Nike. You know,
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
a vision for me.
That's
They're
right.
going to take a chance on me. Rodney
right.
took that chance on me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rodney, big shout out to Rodney Jerkins. Big brother, we got to get you on the pod as well.
Yeah,
You
come
know
on,
what I mean?
come on, RJ. Yeah,
Come
you
on.
know.
Come on. I've had the opportunity to work with other producers that's been a part of his camp. Big shout out to my brother Chip Dixon. And I've met a number of times. I have his brother Fred Jerkins.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of my cousin, so I got a chance to hang out with him at the crib in Atlanta a couple times as well. But yeah, Rodney's that guy. Rodney's
definitely. You got to think of who came from that branch as well.
Man, he come from the Teddy Riley branch, right? Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, he come from Teddy. So
From that Teddy Riley.
he's from
Young.
Jersey. Where's
Jersey.
He's from Jersey.
Yep, his parents, then you know, I don't want to tell the story,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
give a little brief. Like his parents supported him so much, they drove him down there to meet Teddy Riley.
To
I think he
Virginia.
was like 16,
Yeah.
you know, at the time, and like he get a pub deal, like he's still a teenager,
That's right.
massive pub deal, you
Yeah.
know, and just
And
be able to
I've read
fulfill it.
that story.
Yeah.
I've been researching Rodney since I was around that time. I remember when I would say the Never Say Never album came out. I don't know if that was his first project or not, but I remember like that was around 96, 97. I've been like, who is this dude? Ever since I heard that. Like, who is that?
Amazing programmer, amazing musician.
Yeah.
Like, it's just he had endless. Like I can't even. He was like a 100 percenters. You know,
Yes.
one of them guys that could do it all in the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And understand it. You know,
Yeah.
and then was able to make hits. Like that's amazing. You know.
Yeah. No,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And
Continuously do it.
time after time.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anytime
crazy.
you working with Michael Jackson's telling you, you know, for a whole year you can't work with anybody but Michael Jackson. Like, you know, that's
Man,
crazy.
Now I probably would taken that over the 500,000.
Oh, of course, yeah. Any given time. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So let's get into like what R&B are you listening to right now? Like what you on? I know you working. You know.
But Eric's always, you know, always
Tough.
Yeah, he's always tough, man. Every time he drops something, or anytime we're in the studio, it's just like this kid's amazing.
Yeah.
Like this man's really amazing.
Yeah.
So like I always listen to Eric. One of my favorite out now, you know, is SZA. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just for me.
She's special, man.
Yeah, she's special to me.
Yeah.
You know, like she's really special to me, and she has this great like tone, great pockets. She try to figure out. I know sometimes people might say, I don't know what I look up the words. I know what
That's
she's
right.
saying, and what
Yeah.
she's saying is amazing.
But her melodies are crazy. Her writing is out of this world.
yeah, it's a different pocket. You know,
Yeah.
I love that. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people. I don't know if they really catching on to that because she's not doing the typical things.
Right.
Her beat selection is not typical.
That's
that
right.
Good Days beat, it's crazy. Shout out
Crazy.
Carter Lane too, man.
Crazy.
You know, be able to catch her that whole sound like she has.
And she has her own sound.
She has her
Like
own
you,
sound.
I remember hearing Rihanna. Forgot the name of that album. It was like not the last one. I think maybe it was the last album and this is SZA was writing on that album.
Oh yeah.
And I remember hearing, I was like, who was that? I'm listening for the melody and the
Right.
cadences. I'm
Right.
like, and I'm like, who wrote that?
Right.
Like, who is that?
Right.
Like, I mean, Rihanna, big shout out to her. Whew, Rihanna.
Come through.
We need you on Can We Talk R&B?
Yeah.
Big time. This is just a platform for people like SZA, other writers that's coming out with all these. Big shout out to McCable. I remember her as a fantastic writer as well for Rihanna. But SZA, these melodies that SZA was coming with, and then all of a sudden SZA comes out, and you're just like, oh, that's where.
So amazing. Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just stunned. Like I was trying to make it on that album so hard. Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was mad at the time Rodney had her at the house for like 2 weeks, and I was just like, dang, I couldn't get out to LA at the time, and I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, I got to be there, you know.
Yeah.
So,
But it's fantastic to just be in the space, though, because, you know,
Yeah.
obviously the right opportunity will come.
Oh, yeah, for
as,
sure.
as you've had a lot of fantastic opportunities.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about this. So we're talking about R&B. You mentioned Eric Bellinger. You mentioned SZA. Like top male, I'm gonna say 5 R&B artists of the last decade. This is gonna be our R&B hot takes, like of the last decade. Who you got?
Oof. Let me see. Hold on. Top 5.
I'm not mad at Eric Bellinger being one of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He
for
definitely
sure.
is. That dude is pumping out volume like I don't think I've ever seen it like that. Not from a singer.
You know, I'm gonna say a couple. I love Eric Bellinger for one.
Yeah,
Chris Brown, I feel like,
Of course.
definitely,
of course. The Young King.
Yeah, I love what Frank Ocean did bring to the scene as well.
100.
Yeah,
100.
Frank Ocean brought something different to the scene.
Man, when I first heard that, his first project, this was it called Novocaine? That was a single, but I forgot the name of that first project.
Maybe nostalgic. I don't
Maybe it was
remember.
nostalgic.
Yeah,
When he had the tape. It's like you hear him putting on the tape.
right.
And it's like it's talking about Jodeci, and I'm sitting here like, hold on, this dude here's something special.
Oh, yeah.
And he's from New Orleans.
He's from New Orleans.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Like,
When I heard Strawberry Swing, bro, Strawberry Swing, Swim Good, like,
it's amazing record.
come on, bro.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Come on.
And like
Come on.
people, you know, they might tend to forget him in that conversation, but he brought something that was a different wave as well.
100%.
Yeah, I love people that start the new, you know what I'm
The
saying?
new
Start
thing.
the new thing. Like
Yeah.
they're not scared to take that risk.
Love it.
That's what we need more of in
100%.
R&B. That's
Yeah.
what we need more of in hip hop.
For sure.
Because them people are the one that set the tone. Like,
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And you don't want to ever get complacent in it where everybody's doing the same
exact thing. That's right.
It starts to become boring.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. So who else you got?
All right, we got the Chris Brown, we got Frank, Bruno Mars. I love Bruno.
Lust.
Yeah, Bruno.
Bruno might be the best R&B artist of the last 10 years.
Yeah,
Might be.
yeah, he's amazing, bro. Bruno Mars is amazing, but you know that's how I feel, and I know some people might think, yo, he does a lot of pop and nah, like listen to him, like
Look,
listen
can
to
we
him.
talk R&B? Like,
Yeah,
for real. Like,
yeah.
this boy is a singer-songwriter. He has the melodies. He's tapped into.
He plays every
He
instrument.
plays every instrument. He's 100%.
Yeah, he 100%.
That 24 Karat album.
It's crazy.
I mean, I know he was with the Stereotypes on that project.
Yeah.
And him and his boy Phil.
Phil
In case
is
you know
crazy.
Phil is out of there.
Yeah, he's out of his
Phil is
mind.
out of here.
Yeah,
These guys, they tapped into that New Jack Swing vibe. They tapped
Everything.
into all of that.
Versace on the floor. That was
Come
crazy.
on, man.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think James Fauntleroy was a part of the writing on that. If I'm
Forgot
not
about
mistaken.
James, man,
Whew, filthy.
amazing guy.
Filthy. Who else you got?
So we got EB, Frank Ocean, Bruno Mars, Chris Brown, and this is gonna be, you know, some people might not like it, some people may. Look, I'm gonna roll with Drake.
You know what? I said this on one of the other episodes. Real spill. I'm not gonna call Drake. I'm personally not gonna call him an R&B artist, but
Right.
I will say he has inspired almost every R&B artist.
Yeah,
His
for sure.
sound with him and 40 sound with those pads, how they go halftime, and then he has the craziest melodies. And I don't know an R&B singer that don't want to sing on top of what he does.
Yeah, I
you
mean-
know what I'm saying. And he may not be a fantastic vocalist, but he can sing. He
can
actually
hold
can
a
sing
note.
really well.
Yeah.
he does a little more than holding a note.
Yeah. I mean,
He sings pretty well.
Yeah.
And he has some nice his note placement.
right.
His choices are great.
Right.
And that's what makes, you know, as a musician, as a singer, I'm like, when he's singing something, I want to harmonize with him.
Right.
Even when he's rapping,
Right.
I want to harmonize with him.
Man,
so
look,
I'm not mad at it.
That's the dark horse. You know what I'm saying? That's the one that's not gonna be a popular pick. But you know what? I look at the R&B songs in the last couple of years. I mean,
Listen, he inspired more than half of them. So
yeah, some of them are charting as R&B. So it's just like,
you know what? I'm gonna have to give you that. I'm gonna have
no,
to give you that.
I don't know.
Look, all right,
Might
so
get grilled.
listen, well, it's coming. Look, because this is we want all the people. Look, all you guys from all around the world, just chime in. Look, we want to have these conversations. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
let's talk about
There's
it.
no right or wrong answer.
Right.
It's who you feel. And I'm not mad at that at all. That's a great list. So in the last decade, Well, I won't say in the last decade. We just named those 5. So what decade do you feel like is the best decade that produced R&B?
It's always tough, man, because
That's too
it's
tough.
like, you know.
I love that question, but I hate it because I'm like,
Yeah.
What?
70s was crazy. You know.
70s was insane.
The 80s in the beginning it was kind of weird, but then towards the end of it, you have this surgent of new R&B that's coming out.
That's right. That's right.
You go into the early 90s, it's got to be my favorite because,
for sure.
you know, you got the hip-hop and R&B that kind of
bridge.
That bridge,
That's
right?
right.
But you had these amazing vocalists at the same time.
Talk about it.
You had some of the amazing...
Listen,
Man,
Joe, Kenny Lattimore, R. Kelly, Babyface, Boyz II Men, Jodeci.
Boys and Men. Who's a group like
112.
Boys and Men right now? Not even close. I mean, who's a group that was like Boys and Men that had the same like type of? It's not. I can't even name one.
Nah, Boyz II Men, they're one of my all-time favorite groups.
Yeah.
When people listen to my music, you can clearly hear the Boyz II Men influences. But I could tell Boyz II Men, we come from the same school as like listening to the gospel groups like Commission,
Right.
or Winans. Like I can hear all those harmony arrangements in Boyz II Men's influence,
Exactly.
which it would spawn generations of like guys like me after
Right.
that. Now that's fantastic. So when we think about that, like, speaking of Boyz II Men, if like ranking those groups, we have R&B groups like Boyz II Men from the 90s.
Yeah.
I agree. The 90s to me is just the
It's
best era. It's a close one between the 70s and the 90s, but I'm gonna say the 90s. So who would, like, if you rank those best R&B groups from the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
And look, we ain't trying to say that so where it's like if you put somebody number 5, they be like, I don't want to work with him.
Right,
no,
right,
not
right.
like that.
No,
Just your favorite
It's-
ones.
All right, so I guess like New Edition would have to be like
question.
the cream of the crop for me because it started, you know.
It started with them.
You know, it started with them, and then you have a spawn off of Jodeci. You know, not saying that you know they're their babies or that.
Yeah,
Jodeci obviously had what they had.
That's right.
But you know, they can't say that they weren't inspired by the whole movement of New Edition.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So yeah, them Drew Hill, amazing. You know,
Look, Drew Hill, look, you mentioned New Edition. Boyz II Men came from New Edition.
Right.
Because Mike Bivins found them.
oh wow,
And
yeah,
they were part of it. I remember they had a camp, it was called the East Coast Family. So it was like Boyz II Men, ABC, BBD. That was like the East Coast Family. And then you had then you mentioned Drew Hill. So you listen to Drew Hill and you hear them as the children of Jodeci,
right,
essentially.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I don't want to say they're their sons. I'm not saying that. I'm just
Yeah,
saying you
no,
can tell they
no,
were
it's
inspired
never-
by that.
yeah,
They're
right.
inspired
Look,
by them. Yeah.
never slight. Then you have like I don't know, like how do you feel about Jagged Edge?
I love Jagged Edge.
Yeah,
I love Jagged Edge. I would say I love Jagged Edge. Like they came out, they had their own sound.
Right.
They didn't sound like 112 is one of my favorites, right?
Right.
I can clearly hear the Boyz II Men influence in 112.
Right.
I could hear the Commission influence in 112.
Right.
When Jagged Edge came, I didn't really hear them sounding or really reminding me of no other group.
right,
Drew Hill reminded me of Jodeci.
right.
112 reminded me of Boyz II Men. Jagged Edge had their own.
They had their own edge.
They had their own edge.
Right.
And then they were like gangsters. They
Right.
were like, I remember my old band, we opened up for them a couple of times, a number of times actually. And I remember like meeting them, really cool guys. I know the twins, Brian and Brandon, fantastic songwriters. Wingo's fantastic. I think as a group, they were really dope. I wouldn't put them as my top, but I love Jagged Edge.
Yes, no doubt. Yeah, I like Jagged Edge. I love 112 too.
For sure.
Yeah,
Jagged Edge.
yeah.
We want you on the podcast.
Come on.
We want you on the pod. I love it. All right, let's go a little bit further. We almost wrapping up. So respect the pen. This is a segment where we talk about like the writing or whatever it is about some lyrics specifically that stood out to you about maybe a song, one of your songs that you've worked on or whatever. You have a song in mind that lyrically just kind of took you there.
I'm gonna say it's because I looked up like when I started this R&B stuff. I don't know if you remember, but I told you like one of the people that had a crazy run during that time was Tricky Student and Dream.
For sure.
You know, and I fell in love with like how the Dream was writing and stuff. you
Yeah.
know. And then I realized I love R. Kelly, and you know what I'm saying. You just start to tumble down this rabbit hole of like damn, okay, this came from this and this came from that and stuff. But the
That's
Dream kind of like he set a tone for me at that moment. You know, so that 1+1 song for Beyonce,
Come on, man.
it's amazingly written.
The Dream, he was an anomaly.
It was
You know what I'm
amazing.
saying? Like, because I mentioned before, like I think about The Dream and Neo. I look at them like Babyface and Teddy Riley.
Right.
Right. You ain't going wrong with either one of them.
one of them.
Right. They were like the new school that. So when I think about like that song you specifically you're talking about, the lyrics of that song, I need to pull them up. I want to pull that up real quick.
Hey, I don't know much about guns.
Okay.
but I've been shot by you.
Come on.
And I don't know when I'm going to die, but I hope that I'm going to die by you.
Come on.
And I don't know much about fighting, but I will fight for you. And you don't know much about when I ball up my fist, but I realize I'm laying right next to you.
Listen, so listen, man. Who has made you feel like that?
Oh man, this is, you know, I have my baby right now that make me feel like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, the lyrics. I think I heard. There's a producer friend of mine a few years back, Grimes, told me that the secret to a hit is simple and catchy.
Right.
But one thing about that is when people hear the lyrics, it resonates with them. Like,
Right.
I felt that before.
Right.
Or I could have wrote that. Why didn't I write that?
Right.
Or whatever. But when it comes together, it comes together like 2 + 2 = 4.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that just makes sense. So that's a fantastic one. That's a fantastic one. Yeah, Dream is Dream's one of my favorites. Big shout out to the Dream. We want you on the pod as well. Can we talk R&B? Come on, Dream. Can we talk R&B? Listen, I love it. I love it. So what do you have? What do you have new coming out, KC? What you got coming new?
Man, we're working on. We talked about him a lot, but we're working on a new Eric Bellinger project.
Nice.
You know, Coco Jones is also working.
Tough.
You know, hopefully working on Maroon 5.
Nice.
Doing a lot of different like scores for movies as well.
Yeah.
Got the new Nave Manjo project coming out. Hopefully, I can throw some hi hats or kicks on there.
Yeah,
you
man.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And you have the studio.
Yeah.
In New Orleans. Talk about that a little bit.
Lations ENT, man. Shout out to David Adams, who was like the mastermind behind it, man. He's the one who got me back to New Orleans.
Nice.
Thinking about it, you know. He built a beautiful facility.
Nice.
You know, and we partnered up, and it's amazing. It's like 13,000 square feet. We have over 7 studios. Have Adobe Atmos room.
Crazy. Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
we can, you know, get done with the streamings and the movies and things like that, man. You know.
Man, all you artists coming to New Orleans, y'all need to tap into Elation.
Oh, yeah.
Man, tap in, man. I'm telling you, I had this opportunity to visit the facility, and it is impressive.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's nothing like that in New Orleans, man. We had to bring that to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I felt like that, you know, you go to Atlanta, you got Patchwork, you got Tree Sounds, you
That's
got
right.
Doppler. Like, you
That's
have
right.
all these places that's like the staple there.
That's right.
And we need something like that here.
Absolutely.
You know?
I'm gonna tell you like this. Out of all the, I mean, we touched on a number of different things. These conversations, you know, it's an ongoing conversation.
Right.
So we're gonna continue talking about it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna have some things to say.
Of course.
And then you're like, oh, his list is this, my list is this.
Right.
That's what this is about. So we want to just keep the conversation going. KC, I really appreciate you for coming, bro.
Oh, no problem.
Like having you.
Man, I appreciate you, bro.
Special, man.
Thank
Special. Thank you so much. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to Can We Talk R&B podcast. Much appreciated. Y'all tap in. KC the producer, where can they find you on social?
At KC the producer. Instagram or Twitter. Even Facebook, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. KC the producer. That's right. Just like that, KC. So I'll see y'all next week. Tune in. Much appreciated. Y'all bless.
Thank you.
Can we talk? Oh, can we talk? Can we talk? R&B.
What's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Can We Talk R&B. And if you like this episode, please subscribe. Hit the button below. Subscribe to us. God bless.